Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to talk about the ICT macro zones indicator. I have it for MT4 and MT5 on my website and also on the MQL5 website. I'll share all the links in the description box below. Now, if you trade ICT concepts or Forex sessions, then you know that sure, there are candlestick patterns or support and resistance areas and all of that, but timing is the most important thing that ties it all together. Like you might see some candlestick patterns or price bounces off a resistance area right here, and you see that it doesn't really go that far, and suddenly it bounces off the same resistance, and this time it goes a lot further and you have an amazing trade. So one of the most important things is the time when you're placing a trade, because without a good amount of volatility in the market, your trades aren't really going to go that far. This is the euro dollar pair, and right here the London zone starts and it puts in a lot of liquidity into the market, and that's why price is able to go much further than it does in this Tokyo zone. And time again you will see that market behaves in a very predictable way around these zones. Like Tokyo sessions are usually consolidation sessions, and then suddenly price just goes up or down. And ICT concepts, they have very well defined and consistent rules. Let me talk about some of my favorite setups and you'll see what I mean. First of all, let's talk about the Asian kill zone. So I already have this template set up. I'll share all the templates also along with my blog post. Now with this Asian kill zone strategy, once price moves forward and goes beyond this kill zone, after that quite a lot of times you will see almost like this U-shaped pattern, where if you were to draw these lines, extend them. Let me just extend them and show it to you. Right here. Now, if you extend these lines, you will almost see like price goes out of it, comes back inside, and if that U-shaped pattern happens, then most of the time it will go all the way up to the top of that kill zone. It doesn't happen always, which is why it's a good idea to have a stop loss beneath that, that previous low. And whenever you find this pattern, price goes out, almost does like a U shape, comes back in, and you wait till the price goes to the other side of the kill zone. Now, if your kill zone is very small, in that case, you might not want to trade this. Like right here, this kill zone is extremely very small. So even if you have the U-shaped pattern and even though price does reach all the way to the top, the risk is too much. Like if you want to keep your stop loss at a certain point and have at least twice as much take profit, then with such setups, your SLTP ratio won't be that good. But if your kill zone is much bigger, like your overall Tokyo session is quite big, your kill zone is much bigger, in that case, you might be able to place your stop loss much further so that you can get twice as much take profit. But let me show you how I like to trade the London session. Now, after this Tokyo session ends and the London begins, a lot of times once price breaks through these Tokyo lines, and if the moving averages are properly stacked, like this is the 21 MA, this one is 50, and this final one is 200. Now I personally check the stacking between 21 and 50, and for 200 I just check that price needs to be below this 200 line, because this one takes a really long time to properly stack, which is why I usually just look for setups where 21 is below this 50 and price is below this 200. When that happens and price crosses below this line, most of the time it will have quite a significant move, like right here. After the Tokyo session ends, these lines, they are just extension lines which you can define in this indicator. You can say that for monitor 1 we have Tokyo and we want the monitor bars to extend by 30 bars. For London I have set it to 0, and all the other sessions I have them set to false right now because I'm just trading the London and Tokyo breakout. Without these moving averages, quite a lot of times if you do see a breakout happening like this, then price might reverse. Sure, it does end up going a bit further, but the signal won't be as good. Like right here, London breaks below the Tokyo, but the moving averages aren't stacked. So having a proper, trend-based strategy like this, it takes a lot of guesswork out. But once it actually does happen, where moving averages stack properly, and then this breakout happens, in those cases, price goes much farther, and that is a much better trade. Let's try the final strategy that I just keep an eye on. It's this New York kill zone. Once London starts, after that the New York session will start. Turn that on. There is a New York and London overlap, and right around this time, 8:30, quite a lot of times this Judas swing happens where price suddenly drops, suddenly comes back up, and this is like a fake sort of breakout where price will suddenly drop after that 8:30 a.m. time, come all the way back. And you will see this happening over and over. Like right here, there isn't a very sudden drop. Let me show you what those candles actually look like. Let me set the line width to much lower so that you can see. Right here at 8:30, quite a lot of times you will see these kinds of candles where price suddenly goes up, suddenly comes down. So if you do like to trade the Judas swing, you can try out these trades, but I just like to keep an eye on them. And if I do see something where price suddenly drops around that time period, I am very careful to figure out what the support line or the resistance line around those would be, and then I just wait for price to start reversing. But my favorite setup to trade is the London, because this one is a lot more consistent. Because of these moving averages, this breakout, once price breaks out of Tokyo, this one gives me very consistent profits. And it doesn't happen every day. Quite a lot of times you will see all the moving averages overlapping, but because of this, I don't usually trade when that happens, and that saves me from a lot of bad trades. There are a lot of online resources that you will find for trading ICT. In this video, let me mainly focus on how you can set up these boxes to get you the best possible setups. First, I'll just go over all of these settings, and most of it is pretty straightforward. It's very easy to understand. You get these 6 macros and you can set it up to any of these zones, and these are just headings. They don't actually do anything. Like right here, I have the London session. So this heading, it doesn't actually matter. What matters is this will be the name which will be displayed on the chart here. So we have totally 6 sessions, and if you want to have more than 6, like if you want to have some kill zones, then make sure to use a unique prefix, and then you can place another one of these indicators on the chart. Let me show you the Asian kill zone. A lot of the times what I like to do is just have one indicator for all of my kill zones. Like if I'm trading this and along with London, I'll just keep the Asian kill zone to true, and I'll extend the lines for that kill zone. And the second one, I'll put all the sessions in this one. So in the first one, I'll put all the important kill zones, and in second indicator, I'll put all the session zones. So now if I'm trading something like New York and I want to trade it with London overlap, I keep both of these to true. So that will help you out a lot. And these extension lines, once that zone has fully completed, it will keep an eye on price, and if price enters this extension area or if price exits, you can set up the alerts for that. So if you have something like alert on monitor enter, alert on monitor exit. Now most of the time you will be interested in the exit if you are trading breakouts. So you can set this to false, And also sometimes you just want to be alerted when a particular session starts. So these are the alerts for that. And most of the time you will be interested in just having the session boxes. In that case, you can set the refresh after ticks. It will refresh all of these sessions every 50 ticks. I would suggest not to set this to too low because it just updates these boxes. Like once the particular zone starts, the box might be very small, and as price makes newer higher highs and lows, in that case these boxes, they will keep getting updated, and 50 or something like 100 every 100 ticks, if that gets updated, that's fine. And max past bars, these are the number of bars it will draw these boxes in the past. And shift bar, if you set this to 0, then it will alert for every price going out and coming back in, which is why I have by default kept it to 1, because for bar number 1 it will be a completed bar and it will only look for the closing price once the bar has fully finished. So I would suggest that you keep this at 1. Next, we talked about the prefix. This is only useful if you have multiple indicators on the same chart. If you have only one, then just keep a unique enough prefix, because this will be used to draw all of these objects on the chart. And you can set the show boxes, start and end labels, headings, etc. to true or false. Now suppose if you are using this indicator to just get the session zones, and you are only interested in getting the buffer values for suppose your EA or other indicator. In that case, you can set all of these to false. And let me show you the shift bar. It will show you which session is active. Like right here, we have macro 1 for the first one, and the second indicator which we have, this one. So this one has actually 2 macros active, and it will show you the high and low for that particular macro and whether or not it's ongoing, like it's currently active or not. So if you are using this with your own expert, in that case you can get these buffer values. And for that you might want to keep all of these boxes false. So just be sure of that. You can set all of these to false and it won't draw anything on the chart. And next up we have this label offset multiplier. So these labels, they will be drawn right when this box starts, and sometimes if you're if you have a similar time when it starts, these labels, they might overlap each other, like right here. So for one of the indicators you can set the offset multiplier to maybe 0.5, and the other one you can set it to 1 or 1.5, something like that. So just so that the labels, they won't overlap one another. And this one is one of the most important settings. Like for example, GMT would just be 0, and a lot of places they have this daylight savings time. So in order to support every single time zone, and in order to support those EDT or EST and all of those settings, I thought that it would be better to give the user absolute control over this time zone offset. Now let me explain to you how you can best calculate it. In ICT, most of the time you will see that the time, all of these start and end times, they are in EST or EDT depending on the daylight savings going on. So you need to convert that into your current broker time. Now the best way to find which time zone your broker is using, usually it's GMT +2 or +3, something like that. So just go over to the market watch and you will find your broker time. And after that you can go to one of these websites. Right here. So it will start you on your local time. So my local time zone, it's GMT +5:30. And if I go to just the GMT 0, so this will show me what time it is according to GMT. And then I know that my broker time is almost, it's 6 a.m. And I can just go to GMT +3 and I can select anything. It doesn't matter really. and that will show me exactly what the time zone difference will be. And based on that, I can come back here. Now this first value, this is the conversion of time zone to broker. So whatever time you have over here, you need to convert that to your broker time so that it can draw these boxes at exactly the correct bars. Now these times, I know that these are in EDT right now, and EDT is GMT minus 4. And my broker time is GMT plus 3, which is why I have this 7 over here. And this label offset, if you want to see it on your local time, then you can adjust the time zone according to that. But I want to see it in the EDT times, just what the ICT sessions actually have. So I've set that to minus 7. If I wanted to see it in my broker time, then I can just set it to 0. Like I don't want any conversions. If I do that, then it will show me these times according to my broker time. So instead of having, drop down boxes, this gives people the most control, because sometimes people have time zones like instead of full hours, sometimes people might have 5:30 or something like that. And this will give you absolute control over that. Even if there is daylight savings time or whatever going on, you can easily set this offset. And we already talked about the macros. You have 6 macros, and in each one you can enable or disable that. You can give it a custom name which will appear over here as its title. You can give it a start and end time. Now the start and end time for most sessions, it happens during the same day, but something like Tokyo, which is an overnight session, in that case, just be very careful of the exact format that you use. Like 19, that's actually 7 p.m. and 4. Right here, that's actually 4 a.m. And something like New York, that's 8 a.m. and this 17, that is 5 p.m. So just be careful to give the exact time right here. And based on this start and end time, it will draw those boxes. And this was what we had talked about earlier. If you want a particular box to extend, then you can set this extend monitor lines to true. And then you can set the monitor for bars. You can extend it by as many bars as you like. And for boxes where you don't want it to extend, just set it to 0. Then you will see that I have the extension for kill zone, and I have also extended this Tokyo box by 50. So once you extend those boxes, only then you will get the alerts for when price enters inside these extension lines or when price exits these extension lines. And it will check that for the shift bar. And in our case, the shift bar is 1. Like suppose if your bar is ongoing and it enters and then it closes outside of it, in that case you won't get an alert. You want an alert once price opens outside and it closes inside this extension line. I've actually set all the display settings below, because suppose if you are using this indicator for your own expert advisor, in that case the problem you might face is that iCustom, it only allows 64 arguments. So I have kept these number of arguments less than 60. If you're using it with an EA, you do not really want to draw the boxes on the chart. You only want the values from the buffers. So you can set all the things in iCustom till here, and everything else, all the styles and the line width, the colors, everything, that's not going to be important. Now these are the common values, like the font for the labels, the title, font size for the start and end labels. And right here, these will be macro specific. So if you want the label color slightly lighter and the box color darker, you can change these, and you can also change the box width. So for the monitor lines, most of the time I just have 1, and then this will be the next macro box and the next macro box and so on. And I've kept the fill box with color to false so that you can easily see all of these bars. Because if you set the fill box to true, let me set macro 1. Right. So if you set the fill to true, in MetaTrader, the problem is with overlapping colors. Like if this box overlaps with this one, then it will change these colors. And the bar colors, they are being changed because the bars are currently behind the boxes. All you have to do is just put chart on foreground. In that case, it will move all of these bars to the foreground. But this overlap problem, this will always be there in both MT4 and MT5, both of them, which is why I personally prefer to just set that fill to false, so that I can see the price properly. And if I'm using something like volume candles, in that case I prefer the chart to be behind those bars so that I can see the high volume bars. But you can set it up to what you like. Sometimes I think people would prefer just the kill zone boxes with fill color and everything else without the fill, just to see it much more clearly. And finally we have all the alerts. So I think I already talked. Alert on session enter, like once the session starts or a session ends. And if you have those extension lines, then it will monitor whether price has entered those extension lines or price has exited. You can set up pop-up alerts, push notifications or email. And if you are using it with EA, and if you want those alerts inside a file, you can set this to true. And finally, if the boxes aren't being drawn properly, and if you are trying to figure out these offsets, the time zone offsets, in that case you can set the debug to true. Suppose I set both the debugs to true. You can look inside the experts tab, and this is what all of your logs will look like. Exactly where the labels are being drawn and exactly where the boxes are being drawn. And these will be the time zone offsets. Like this is your broker time and this is the display time. And if you have custom time zone offset set to 0, then these labels, these will show you the time in broker times. If you have set this to +7, then it will extend those times. So you'll just get some extra info, and these debugging, these error messages, they will help you figure out what the problem might be. I think I've covered all the settings. And if you have any really cool session information like ICT or any other strategies that are based on sessions, please share them in the comment section below so that everyone can benefit from that. And I really hope that you enjoy using this indicator. And if you want more such cool strategies, there are a lot of resources like this blog post that I'm sharing. I found this on Twitter, and you can see all the kill zones are mentioned here. And this one, silver bullet sessions, these are considered extremely important in ICT. So you can check out these resources. If you have some other really cool strategies, just let me know in the comment sections below. And over time, this video might become outdated if I add more features. So be sure to go through the blog post first, as that is the one which I'll keep updating. But I really hope that you enjoy using this indicator, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have an awesome day.